De-emphasize anxiety. Hey. Ding, ding, ding.
Akira.
Question I guess that keeps coming up to me was, what are we supposed to do?
What are we supposed to do?
Well, I keep saying, de-emphasize anxiety, reassure people. You meet people who say, I'm really scared. I'm scared about my job. I'm scared.
So what?
Don't worry. You don't know enough to worry. That's God's truth. Who do you think you are that you should worry, for crying out loud? Don't worry. That's God's truth. It's a total waste of time. It presupposes such a knowledge of the situation that it is in fact a form of hubris. No, what you do is just pay your bills and, pack heat if you need to, and don't worry. That's all. Yes. Worry is praying to the devil. That's great. Worry is betting against yourself. Wepo Yang, a great Chinese Taoist who wrote many, many commentaries on the I Ching. He was asked at the end of his life, what was his conclusion of a life of studying the I Ching? He said, worry is preposterous. That was it. Worry. You don't know enough to worry. That's God's truth. Who do you think you are that you should worry, for crying out loud? Don't worry. That's God's truth. You don't know enough to worry. That's God's truth. Who do you think you are that you should worry, for crying out loud? Don't worry. That's God's truth. Worry is preposterous.
preposterous.
Worry is preposterous. Worry is preposterous. Worry is preposterous. Don't worry. That's God's truth.
Somewhere, and it began to snow. The bus stopped at a little cafe in the hills, and the workers entered. And he sat at the counter with the others, and he ordered. The food arrived, and the meal was particularly good. And the coffee.
Sweet chilling. Is that chill? I mean, it's a big, powerful guitar solo. What's something chill about it? What's up, Amanda? What up, Dolphin Lad? Very strange you should say that, considering what I was doing at 2 o'clock this morning. How weird. How weird. Blue Green Frog. It's never weird, is it? Blue Green Frog, what's up? Oh yeah, it's time to ride the meaning wave. Yes, it is. What up, Carl Diamond? What up, Jason Eva? Jason Eva's here. Hey, how you doing? Says, thank you for the stream, Akira. This helps me sleep better. Does it? Surely it's keeping you awake. Go to sleep. Forest Dances, he says, throw a Molotov cocktail at the like button. Exactly. Worry is preposterous, says Mute Barbecue quite correctly. loves Planned Paradise, there's clean air, clean water, safe food. They owe us a Kennedy or two. Full Killer, what's cracking? Breed Llama, what's up? We chillin', baby. Who was here last night? Make some noise if you were here last night. Kick the leg if you were here last night.
Laughing hard.
Last night was very powerful.
Akira.
Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. Be on the watch. There are ways out. There is light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Sometimes the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight in you. That's a beauty.
That's a beauty, ain't it, Becker H? Ain't it, Jake? Ooh-wee. Chillin'. Wealth.
Existence, the physical universe, is basically playful. There is no necessity for it whatsoever. It isn't going anywhere. That is to say, it doesn't have some destination that it ought to arrive at, but that it is best understood by analogy with music. Because music, as an art form, is essentially playful. We say you play the piano. You don't work the piano. Why? Music differs from, say, travel. When you travel, you are trying to get somewhere. One doesn't make the end of a composition the point. If that were so, the best conductors would be those who played fastest. And there would be composers who wrote only finales. People go to concert just to hear one crashing chord, because that's the end. Existence, the physical universe, is basically playful. There is no necessity for it whatsoever. It isn't going anywhere. Existence, the physical universe, is basically playful, but it is best understood by analogy with music. Because music, as an art form, is essentially playful. Say, when dancing, you don't aim at a particular spot in the room. That's where you should arrive. The whole point of the dancing is the dance. Now, but we don't see that as something brought by our education into our everyday conduct. We've got a system of schooling which gives a completely different impression. It's all graded. And what we do is we put the child into the corridor of this grade system. So they kind of come on, kitty, kitty, kitty. And yeah, you go to kindergarten, you know. And that's a great thing because when you finish that, you'll get into first grade. And then come on, first grade leads to second grade and so on. And then you get out of grade school, you go to high school, and it's revving up, the thing is coming. Then you're going to go to college. And by Jove, then you get into graduate school. And when you're through with graduate school, you go out to join the world. Then you get into some racket where you're selling insurance, and they've got that quota to make, and you're going to make that, and all the time the thing is coming, it's coming, it's coming, that great thing, the thing is coming, it's coming, that great thing, the success you're working for. Then when you wake up one day about 40 years old, you say, my God, I've arrived. I'm there. And you don't feel very different from what you always felt. By expectation. Look at the people who live to retire, who put those savings away. And then when they're 65, they don't have any energy left, they're more or less impotent, and they go rot in a senior citizens community. Because we've simply cheated ourselves the whole way down the line. We thought of life by analogy with a journey, with a pilgrimage, which had a serious purpose at the end, and the thing was to get to that end. Success or whatever it is, or maybe heaven after you're dead. But we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or to dance while the music was being played. Universe is basically playful. There is no necessity for it whatsoever. It isn't going anywhere. Existence, the physical universe, is basically playful, but it is best understood by analogy with music. Because music, as an art form, is essentially playful.
Lovely record that is. Akira the Don and Alan Watts, Life is Not a Journey. Before that we had The Laughing Heart, Akira the Don and Tom Waits reading Charles Bukowski. Before we had Nirvana, Akira the Don, Tom Waits reading Charles Bukowski. And we opened, of course, with Don't Worry, with Uncle Terence, McKenna. He's one of those people I told you some years ago he was going to get increasingly relevant and discussed as we veered into the next cultural swing, the 7-year cultural swing that goes from, one way of thinking about it is punk to hippie, perhaps. You know, punk to psychedelic, smack to acid, black to tie-dye. And lo and behold, I'm seeing Terence all over my timeline these days, talking about things getting weirder, and eventually they get so weird we're gonna have to talk about them. You been seeing that? Man like Uncle Terence. Man like me, barbecue, what's cracking? How you all doing out there? It's the day. It's I like this Saturday afternoon chilling thing. We go super crazy on Friday night, and then Saturday it's like, yeah, we chilling up in y'all. You know what I mean? Because we are. This is muy importante. Very important to chill. Last night was crazy. Who was here? Who's here? Who is Akira? How do I do this? I'm trying to do too many things at once. You gotta forgive me. Who I gotta shout out? Gotta shout out a few people, but anyway, Chris Champagne chilling like a villain, unlike a villain. Word XP, psychedelic to punk, Democrat to Republican, liberal to conservative, left to right, yin yang. I don't know about that. I have not observed the cultural swing having anything to do with politics. And that's because politics is lies and trickery for the most part. But politics on the left-right thing, I have not observed that observably swinging from one extreme to the other on a 7-year basis, but I have observed the cultural thing of which I speak. That is trackable. I can trace that in my own life. I can trace that back from observing, for example, in the late 80s, beginning of the 90s, in the and this was a global thing actually, but certainly I was observing in the UK. You had like acid house and people wearing smiley t-shirts and raving, and Whistle Posse Make Some Noise, and cultures were united as one, and hip-hop and dance music and baggy and indie were all kind of like meshing together, and people were doing acid and MDMA and stuff. And then almost overnight, in like the end of 92, suddenly Suede appear in the UK, and suddenly the whole Britpop thing, people are taking speed and cocaine and dressing in dark clothes, and all that happy woo-woo suddenly disappears. In the USA, Nirvana appears, and suddenly it's all this angsty, waily grunging all over the place. Anyway, Fool Killer, what's up? Bleak Lama quoting the late Dr. Andrew says, politics is downstream from culture. Quite. Politics is showbiz for ugly folks. Who said that? Someone said that. Have you all nutted the like button? I got some things to show you, but I'm going to play you this song. I can't be doing multiple things at once.
Let me show you my path.
I'll get a producer one day and figuring out
the user interface. It's important that you know how I got there so that you could have some trust that there's something to it. When I was a kid, I was influenced, as was my mother, by the book The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. That suggested that you could somehow change your life, or maybe you were changing reality, if you could simply think positively. Think positively. Think positively. Think positively. So this was my first introduction to the concept that maybe reality was not fixed and something that you were a victim of, but rather you could do something. There was some mechanism, some technique, some tools you could use to get some control over your environment and your life, as opposed to having it control you. And that was my first thought, that reality could be programmable in at least some simple sense. But of course, I embarked on a lifetime of exploration to find out if I could find out more about how to program reality. Think positively. Think positively. Think positively. How to program reality. Think positively. Think positively. Think positively. That led me to learn meditation. I became a trained hypnotist. Of course, mushrooms let you see the world in a completely different reality. And all of these things, from studying all the different religions to doing affirmations, which is really just visualizing what you want and writing it down every day. Visualizing what you want, writing it down every day. And then learning persuasion. These all had the same cumulative effect of teaching me that reality was indeed far more subjective than you're led to believe. And when I say reality is subjective, I don't mean that there isn't some base reality that's real. What I mean is that we don't have access to it. In other words, just take religion. Two people with completely different religions can go into a store, they can shop, they can get married, have children. They don't really need to reconcile the fact that they live in different worlds. One thinks there's an afterlife, one thinks there's reincarnation, one thinks there's nothing, and yet we all survive and thrive and reproduce. There's nothing to suggest that our brains are the kind of brains that can understand reality. Instead, all of the evidence suggests that we can put filters, optionally and somewhat subjectively, on our reality, and the thing that we deal with is the filter. We're not dealing with the underlying reality, but our filter on it is the thing that's real to us. And you can change those filters, so that's the important part. And you can change them fairly easily. And if you find a filter that predicts better and makes you happier, well, that's the better filter, even if it isn't a better approximation of reality. What matters is you're happy. What matters is getting what you need in life. Think positively. Think positively. Think positively. How to program reality. Think positively. Think positively. Think positively. Program reality. You can change those filters. Change those filters. Change those filters. How to program reality. Think positively. Think positively. Think positively.
Make some noise for
that there's a subjective reality. You're starting to get ready to accept the user interface for that reality.
Scott Adams there, How to Program Reality. That's a useful song, isn't it? How useful? Word XP says, is the goal happiness or meaning? Well, you already know this because I tell you all the time. Happiness is a side effect of meaning. So seek meaning and happiness will just come by default. I tell you this all the time. I tell you this because I tell you to go to meaningwave.com because happiness is a side effect of meaning. Speaking of a side effect of meaning being happiness, our friend Amcast sent us a nice... It's actually a video, but it's a picture, but he sent it as a video, which has made it difficult to show on the stream due to the way things are hooked up on the back end. But so I won't show it as the video, but I've got it as a picture, and I think I can show it you by doing this. Look, it's slightly distorted, so I apologize for that. It's due to the nature of how it displays on my television over there. But look, there's Amcast and baby Alyssa, a beautiful little meaning baby. And look at the joy on the face there, right? You see that? See that? That there is happiness as a side effect of meaning. That's what that is, right? Isn't that lovely? Amcast is here, right? He sent us that anyway. Jason sent it me because he is here. Look. Hello, Amcast. Congratulations. How's Alyssa doing? How's the family? How's the mama? Is everybody good? I hope everybody's good. I'm sure everybody's good. You wouldn't be here hanging out if it wasn't good, would it? Anyway, congratulations to you. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? Ooh. I gotta shout out Baked Turbo Flash as well. Ooh. I wonder if I can do this. There's my ex-profile. What the fuck is going on? Because I'm not logged in on this computer for some reason. It's showing me really old stuff. Oh, that was a funny joke. That's weird. Wow, that's really weird. For some reason, my Twitter is showing really old stuff. So, look at that tweet there. Sweet smiling Tom. Never deleted a post. Never suspended an account. Never rearranged a timeline. You gave us everything and we forsook you. That did numbers, that post. Look at that. That did, what, 74,000 likes. Do you know why? It's because of the word forsook. The word forsook is sticky. I mean, the whole thing is relatable, right? Because I use the word forsook. That's a sticky word. That's Persuasion 101 right there. Okay, I can't show you what I wanted to show you. But I can say, shout out to Baked Turbo Flash, who tweeted some video from last night's stream while it was happening, which is a very cool thing to do. Shouts out to everyone who does that, because it's cool, because I can't do it because I'm in here doing the show, you know what I mean? So it's nice when people do things like that. I appreciate all of you sharing the good word of Meaningwave. Based adorable Alyssa, says Ben Goodwin. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Oh, so adorable, says Layla Nexa. Oh. Word XP says the baby even makes his fade look better. Hang on, let's have a look at that. I mean, it's a good fade. It's a fine fade. The baby makes the fade look better. Yeah. Gartham says, I'm skiing in Montana right now. I too am chilling. Yes, you are. Shout out to you. Bleat Llama says, Elon made this change shortly after taking over. If you're not logged in, you get a random sampling of older posts. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, now we know. You have to log in on that computer over there. Can't do it now. Anyway, what's cracking? How's everyone doing? Slap the like about a bit. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon in which we chill. And we're going to be playing some lovely, chill, Meaningwave music for you today. We have some gems lined up by Joe.
It's interesting that some people find science so easy and others find it kind of dull and difficult. Especially kids, some of them are just eat it up. And I don't know why it is. So perhaps, but also, for instance, lots of people love music and I never could carry it to them. I lose a great deal of pleasure out of that. And I think people lose a lot of pleasure who find science dull. In the case of science, I think that one of the things that make it very difficult, it takes a lot of imagination. It takes a lot of imagination.
It takes a lot of imagination. It's very hard to imagine all crazy things that things really are like.
It takes a lot of imagination.
It takes a lot of imagination.
Nuke emojis for Richard Feynman, por favor.
All crazy things that things really are like.
Imagination.
Nothing's really as it seemed. We used to get, hot and cold, and all that hot and cold is the speeds that the atoms are jiggling. If they jiggle more, it corresponds to hotter, and colder is jiggling less. So if you have a cup of coffee or something sitting on a table, and the atoms are jiggling a great deal in the coffee, and they bounce against the cup, and the cup then gets shaking, and the atoms in the cup shake, and they bounce against the source, and the heat heats the understand. Trying to understand. It takes a lot of imagination.
It takes a lot of imagination. It's very hard to imagine all crazy things that things really are like.
It takes a lot of imagination.
It takes a lot of imagination. It's very hard to imagine all crazy things that things really are like.
And if you're used to balls bouncing, you know they slow up and stop after a while. But we have to imagine with the atom perfect elasticity. They never lose any energy. Every time they bounce, they keep on bouncing. They're perpetually moving. And that the things that happen when we say something loses energy, if a ball comes down and bounces, it shakes irregularly some of the atoms in the floor. And then when it comes up again, it leaves some of those atoms moving, the jiggling. So as it bounces, it's passing its extra energies, its extra motions to little pieces on the floor each time it bounces, and loses a little each time. Until it settles down, we say, as if all the motion has stopped. But what's left is the floor is shaking more than it was before, and the atoms in the ball is shaking more than they were before. That the organized motion of all these atoms moving the same way, falling down, and the quiet floor is now transformed into a ball sitting on the ground. But all that emotion is still there in the form of the jiggling of the floor, which is a little bit warmer. But anybody who's hammered a great deal on something knows that it's true, that if you pound something, you could feel the temperature difference. It heats up. It heats up simply because you're jiggling.
Jiggling.
A lot of imagination.
It takes a lot of imagination. It's very hard to imagine all crazy things that things really are like.
It takes a lot of imagination.
It takes a lot of imagination. It's very hard to imagine all crazy things that things really are like.
You can keep looking at all kinds of things this way. I find myself trying to imagine all kinds of things all the time, and I get a kick out of it, just like a runner gets a kick out of sweating. I get a kick out of thinking about these things. I can't stop. I mean, I can talk forever.
There's a nice Richard Feynman there with Imagination. A delightful song, I'm sure you will agree. 1 p.m. When p.m. said, last night's wave is gone. I hope to catch another one. That was a fun one. Thanks, Akira. Yes, well, last night's stream was indeed glorious, but it was inevitable that YouTube would nuke it. Let's have a look. Here we go. Here it is on, I mean, if you're on the Patreon, then you can watch it. You can still watch it back. What's that doing that for? Hang on a sec. Let me move my little meter. There you go. Yeah. So Patreon crazily has got a streaming player. So let me turn that down. Shush. Yeah. So the whole thing is there on Patreon, and you can watch that, and you can also download it in audio and video. And if you're a channel member here on YouTube, you can download it in audio and video as well. There just isn't the streaming player, because why would there be a streaming player on YouTube? That would be crazy. What did we get hit with? We got 49 copyright strikes, and the stream was blocked in 82 countries. 82 whole countries got the yeet. And you know, that's testament to the glory of the wave. Testament to the glory of the wave. By Jove. Anyway, yeah, but yeah, if you're on the Patreon or the channel member, you still have access to the glory that was last night's incredible party stream. And we do that every Friday. Every Friday we wrestle with the party gods, you know what I mean? And we get it cracking. And you will never find us lacking. Never, never, never. Amanda Dances says a billion Andrew WKs. Well, yeah, exactly. Going in with all the power of a billion Andrew WKs. And I don't think you could deny that that's what we did, right? WordXP says 82 countries, at least there's a few hundred left, right? Yes, exactly. How many countries are there these days? Anyone know? I don't know. I could ask the internet. I don't know if it would be to tell me the truth, though. You don't know, do you? Understand? You know what I mean? You have no idea if these robots are lying to you or not. I ain't trusting these robots. Who programmed them? And who programmed them? You know what I mean? Let alone who programmed the robots, who programmed the so-called humans who programmed the robots. Who's doing the programming? You know what I mean? I know. Are you doing the programming? You lot are programming yourselves. That's why you're here. That's why you're into the whole meaning wave thing. That's what the meaning wave thing is, right? It's a way of programming yourself. A lot of people are not even aware of the concept of such a thing. And it's very sad for them because they then get programmed. You know what I mean? Program or be programmed. If you're not actively washing your own brain, someone else is going to wash your brain. Or it's just going to get mad, dirty, and awful. Usually both. WordXP says no matter what, Meaning Wave will hit all the countries. That's what matters most. WordXP, you are a beacon of glory and you always have been. And it's very nice to see you. Always good to see you, WordXP. Meaning Wave, autonomous zone, wave riding legend. And we have a gang of those. We're very, very lucky. There's one there, he's called Full Killer 3644. He says, I always just move forward to the next stream like a meaning shark. Just enjoyed the present moment of these streams. The year of daily streams and so many yeeted ones taught me that. Sagittarius says, bathe your brain daily in meaning wave. Exactly. Amcast says, let's burn all the deadwood. Reprogram yourself. Indeed. Why not? Why not? You know what happens when you don't burn deadwood? You get forest fires. And, you know, few things are more horrible than burning alive. So best that you burn off that deadwood before it lights ablaze and you get that Raiders of the Lost Ark treatment. You get that Joan of Arc. As the flames rose to her Roman nose. And Mega Drive started to melt. Whose version was that? Someone did a version. That's a lyric from a Smiths song, Morrissey song, and it's one of those things that was dated incredibly by the technology it was referenced in it. In the original version, he goes, "As the flames rose to a Roman nose, and our Walkman started to melt." And then someone did a cover of it, and they substituted Mega Drive for Walkman. I don't know why someone would be carrying a Mega Drive around. It's not. That wasn't a portable device, as far as I recall. But yeah, someone did that. Who was it? Was it Evan Dando? I can't remember. Anyone knows, let me know. We got bots in the chat. Is that a bot, or is that someone being funny? I think it's a bot. Delete that bot. Now, what song was I going to play? I got a lovely song for you now. If I can only find it. Here it is. It's a lovely song. Oh yeah.
The Hindu life is related to this cosmology. And the objective of life is, of course, in the end, to wake up from the dream when you've had enough. And so the dreaming process is called sometimes samsara. Samsara is the round, the rat race. Samsara divided into 6 divisions. This is the world of the Deva. This is the same root from which we get both divine and devil. The Deva means angel. The highest and most successful beings in the universe. And so opposite, this is the world of Naraka, who are the most unsuccessful. These are the purgatorial worlds of extreme suffering. This is the world of Ashura. They are also angels, but they're angry angels, representing the wrath potential of energy. This is the world of animals. This is the world of Preta, for which we have no English equivalent. They are hungry or frustrated spirits who have enormous stomachs but mouths only the size of needles, vast appetite and no means of fulfillment.
Make some noise for Alan Watts' chalk.
World, that is to say, the world of man. You don't have to take this literally. You could say, when you're extremely happy or ecstatic, you're here. When you are miserable, you're here. When you're dumb, you're here. When you're mad, you're here. When you're frustrated, you're here. But when you're more or less your normal, rational self, you're here. All life, through the period of the Kalpas, goes grinding around this wheel. And if you go up, and you succeed, and you get to the top, you have to come down. They don't see success, in other words, in the world as a method of liberation.
You have to come down.
Because it implies failure. But the idea of liberation, which is called moksha, is the ideal of Hindu life. Wake up, it's a dream.
Wake up, it's a dream. We be nuking software on site around here. I got zero tolerance for software. Don't you be coming in my chat, you software. Good lord.
So it's difficult for us, because of that cultural heritage, to accept, to accommodate our common sense to the idea that the web might basically be playful. That it might be like somebody saying, won't you come and play with me? The child. And the other child has some little hesitation. I don't know whether I ought to play with you. You come from the wrong side of the track. I don't feel like playing today. I feel serious. I don't think play is important. We ought to do something real, like wash the dishes for mother, who, incidentally, has forgotten that the whole point of washing the dishes is playful. Arranging the patterns of life. 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 You don't wash the dishes for a serious reason. You like the table to look nice, you know. You don't want to serve up the dishes for dinner with all
some noise for those patterns of life
still lying on them. So why do you want the table to look nice? Well, again, it's for nice. You like the pattern of it that way. People get terribly compulsive about doing these things. And they think that going on arranging the patterns of life is something that's a duty. That means a debt, that you owe it to yourself or to your family or to someone or other. You're in debt. See, that's the trouble. When a child comes into the world, the parents play an awful game on it. Instead of being honest, they say, we've made such great sacrifices for you. Here we are, we've supported you, we've paid for your education, and you're an ungrateful little bastard. And the child feels terribly guilty because what we do is we build into every human being the idea that existence is guilt. Playful. Arranging the patterns of life. 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 The existentialists make a big thing of this. And you watch out for them. Because they're hoaxes. Yes. And they say that guilt is ontological. If you're not feeling guilty, you're not human. That was because Papa and Mama said, look at all the trouble you've caused us. You shouldn't dare to exist. You have no rights, but maybe we'll give you some out of the generosity of our hearts so that you'll be permanently indebted to us. And so everybody goes around with that sort of thing in their background unless they had different kinds of papas and mamas who didn't play that trick. And if they don't do it, somebody else does it. Auntie comes around and says, you don't realize what your father and mother have done for you. You think, you can just stay around here and goof off, but they have sweated blood to give you your clothes and food and so on, and you ought to be grateful for it. But that's not the way to make people grateful. They won't be grateful that way. They'll imitate gratefulness. They'll go and put on a big show and say, oh, thank you so much, I feel so indebted to you, and so on and so forth, and they'll make it look good. But it isn't real. But it isn't real. Because, actually, one's father and mother had a great deal of fun bringing you into being, or we hope they did. And they wanted to do that the worst way. They have no reason to complain about all these things and try and make the children feel guilty. Playful. Arranging the patterns of life. Playful. Arranging the patterns of life. Playful. Arranging the patterns of life. Playful. Arranging the patterns of life.
Did you know that we made this song on stream? We've never done that like twice. And this song was made on stream. Some people from the chat sent in a few samples. Someone sent in a sample of, for example, of some washing up being done. So there's some of that in there. There's little Hercules is in there. He came in and shouted something. Amanda Dancer says, I probably need to put this one on repeat for a week. I lost my ability to play a long while ago. I want it back. You ain't lost it. You still have it. It's yours. Just gotta use that thing. Arranging the patterns of life. Word XP says, I was there for that. I think I was like, if we, when we get to 100 patrons, I'd do that. So we did. We made this song pretty good going because it's a beautiful song. It's a MEANINGWAVE classic. Four Killer says we should have a for nice emoji, all endure time. Well, endure time. Let's see how long till we get another emoji. 23 more members, and we will unlock another emoji slot. So we could hypothetically have a nice for nice. Nice is a word we like, isn't it? We use nice quite a lot around here. If this isn't nice, I don't know what is. Oh, we do have a nice. We have a nice in the speech bubble, don't we? Maybe we should have another nice that's more obvious, or maybe a for nice. But either way, yes, another 23 members here on YouTube, and we'll unlock another emoji for you to utilize in your live, communication / feedback. It's not communication is what happens when it's received, isn't it? You have to remember that. Ben Goodwin says Amanda thinks she can't play anymore, but still Amanda dances. It's called Amanda Dances, and she's in the chat going ham a lot. So I don't think I believe her unless she thinks play is something else. Amanda Dancer says, dancing again is step one. I'd quit that too. Well, it's good to see you back. Amcast says, thank you. I'm paying more attention to enjoying the present and being playful. Well, Amcast, you've got a little baby now, and that's going to force you to be present. And that's going to have a really cool side effect, which I remember from when Hercules came along. There's this phenomenon people talk about. They're like, oh, you know, those summers when we were young, they'd go on forever, wouldn't they? You know, it was like time has sped up as my life has gone on. It's not that time speeds up. I mean, maybe that's happening in some other manner, but it's that when things are new, you sort of slow down to take them in and experience them, right? You know, so when the whole world is new in those early days, those early summers, time is slow because there's all this new stuff. As you go through life and things become familiar, your brain fast forwards through them. If you're driving the same way to work every day, you'll sometimes have that experience where you're like, hang on, how did I get here? And you don't even have the memory of having driven anymore. Your brain just stuck that somewhere. You know, it doesn't need that shit, fucking hell. So life feels like it's speeding up. But when you have a little kid, you start seeing the world through their eyes. You know, you start experiencing the world through their eyes. And those early days of Hercules are like, time was slow, right? I remember that. There was a period of time when we were, we were preparing to move to the USA, so we decamped to Wales by the sea because it was cheap there, and to get ready to go to the USA. And I was running on the beach every day and preparing my DJ library and all this kind of stuff. And it was just a few months, but it felt like one of those early summers because I was spending so much time with this new little baby. And I was taking him on all these walks, and he was like, you know, he'd see a flower, he'd be like, oh, flower, what the fuck is this? And he'd stop his little pushchair, and he'd like reach out and, you know, sort of examine this flower. And time slowed down, you know, and so that's you are going to be in the moment in a way that you haven't been for a long time, and enjoy that. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful, wonderful. There's so many wonderful side effects of having a little child around, and that's definitely one of them, but there's so many of them. We should probably catalog them. All these poor swine who've been tricked by these modern diseases, the anti-natalist types, the people who think that having children is bad for the planet, that bore children. So ridiculous. But these poor people, they don't know what they're missing, and, you know, they've been lied to by their governments and the media and all these people, and gaslit into missing out on what is obviously the purpose of life for the most part. You know, it's certainly one of the most wonderful things that can be experienced, and you know, it'd be nice to have a handy list of all the good stuff that you could give to people who need it. Venice Beach Dub Club says, how do I become a member? How do you become a member? Can somebody tell Venice Beach Dub Club how to become a member? I'm pretty sure that you just click member at the top somewhere. Do you go to... Hang on. Oh yeah, if you go MEANINGWAVE, if you just go to the YouTube main page, there's a membership bit. But there should be something at the top of this video as well. Let me see. Let's go to the internet. Let's say that we're on a stream. Here we are. Oops. Say we're on... Well, there. So there... Oh, this is the back end, isn't it? How do I view the channel? Why is everything so complicated? View channel! Viewing it as if... There you go. Community members there. Membership. Up there at the top. Membership. So you can become a member up there. And this is what membership looks like to members of level 5. See, look at that. You get the download there. Download there. Lots of downloads. Lots of stream downloads. Album downloads. Lots and lots and lots of stream download. Album download. Album download. Stream download. Album download. Single download. Lots of downloads. So yeah, do that. Go to the membership bit and become a member. It's nice. It's for nice. also a link in the description of this thing as well to the channel members bit. Get me through this. Sandy Champagne. Oh wow. Maybe you just got one. Amanda, who now dances, just playfully gave 5 memberships to the audience.
Gather and save your time, which so lately has been forced from you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Away on many
Nuke-like generosity. Nuke power generosity.
continue to act thus, my dear Lucilius.
Hi.
Shake yourself free for your own sake. Gather and save your time, which so lately has been forced from you, or filched away or merely slipped from your hands. Make yourself believe the truth of my words. There's certain moments are torn from us, some are gently removed, and others glide beyond our reach. And the others glide beyond our reach. The most disgraceful kind of loss is due to carelessness. Furthermore, if you will pay close heed to the problem, you will find the largest portion of our life passes while we are doing ill. A goodly share while we are doing nothing. And the whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. What man can you show me who places any value on his time? Who reckons the worth of each day? Who understands that he is dying daily? For we're mistaken when we look forward to death. The major portion passed already. The years behind us are in death's hands. Therefore, do as you write me that you're doing. Hold every eye in your grasp. Lay hold of today's task, and you will not need to depend so much upon tomorrow's. While we are postponing, life speeds by. Nothing Lucilius is ours except time. We were entrusted by nature with the ownership of a single thing, so fleeting and slippery. Anyone who will can oust us from possession. And the whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. Fools these mortals be, they allow the cheapest and most useless things, which can easily be replaced, to be charged in the reckoning. And after they've acquired them, never regard themselves in debt when they receive some of that precious commodity, time. And yet time is the one loan which even a grateful recipient cannot repay. You may desire to know how I who preach to you so freely and practicing. I confess frankly my expense account balances as you would expect from one who is free-handed but careful. I cannot boast that I waste nothing, but I can at least tell you what I am wasting and the cause and manner of the loss. I can give you the reasons why I'm a poor man. And the whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. My situation, however, is the same as that of many who are reduced to slender means through no fault of their own. Everyone forgives them, but no one comes to their rescue. Or is the state of things then? Is this? I do not regard a man as poor if the which remains is enough for him. I advise you, however, to keep what's really yours, and you cannot begin too early. For as our ancestors believed, it's too late to spare when you reach the dregs of the cask of that which remains at the bottom. The amount is slight and the quality is vile. Farewell. And the whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. The whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose.
Yeah. Alright, that which is not to the purpose. Akira the Don and Seneca. Akira the Don, Seneca the Younger. That which is not to the purpose. Make some noise if you want more Seneca in the Meaning Wave universe. Venice Beach Dub Club is still trying to become a member. How can it be so difficult? How can YouTube be so unintuitive? It's disgrace. Basic says, hey, Venice Beach Dub Club, I'm a big fan. Fantastic to see you here. Epic individuals only on the Meaningstream and in the Meaning Wave audience. Why would you be surprised to see someone incredible? You are yourself a bad motherfucker, surely. Man like Venice Beach Dub Club. We played one of his songs. Was it last week? We had Anomaly in, and we played the Anomaly BBDC song. It's a banger. A beach banger. Amanda Dances is doing her very best to assist. Maybe you need to update the app. Alright, you lot. Oh, look, he's worked it out. He became a member. Hey, welcome to the channel, Venice Beach Dub Club. You are a member at level 1. It's so nice to see you. We chillin'.
People often ask me, do you believe in God? I don't like that question. First of all, it's an attempt to box me in a sense. And the reason that it's an attempt to box me in is because the question is asked so that I can be firmly placed on one side of a binary argument. The reason I don't like to answer it is because A, I don't like to be boxed in, and B, because I don't know what the person means by believe or God. And they think they know. And the probability that they construe belief and construe God the same way I do is virtually zero. It's a question that doesn't work for me on multiple levels of analysis. But strangely enough, just as we were talking, the answer to that question popped into my head. I act as if God exists. 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 Now you can decide for yourself whether that means that I believe in him, so to speak. But I act as if he exists. Then with regards to these other issues, the divinity of Christ, I would say the same. Problems with the question formulation obtain. What do you mean by divine? And also, what do you mean by Christ? These are very, very difficult questions. Now, I believe that the Logos is divine. If by divine you mean of ultimate value, of ultimate transcendent value, yes, it's divine. It's associated with death and rebirth. Clearly, I act as if God exists because the Logos dismantles you and rebuilds you. I act as if God exists. That's what happens when you make an error. When you make an error, some part of you has to go. I act as if God exists. That's a sacrifice. You have to let it go. Sometimes it's a big part of you. I act as if God exists. Sometimes it can be such a big part of you that you actually die. Instead of dying and being reborn. Is there something more than merely metaphorical about the idea of dying and being reborn? Yes, there is. Because those are associated with physiological transformations. What's the ultimate extent of that? That's a good question. What happens to the world around you as you increasingly embody the Logos? act as if God exists. I act as if God exists. I act as if God exists. I act as if God exists. The hypothesis is that there has been one or two individuals who managed that, and that in their management of that, they transcended death itself. So what do you mean by transcended death? Well, in the case of Christ, let's assume he was a historical figure. Is his resurrection real? Well, his spirit lives on. That's certainly the case. And let's imagine that a spirit is a pattern of being. Patterns can be transmitted across multiple substrates. Vinyl, air, vibrations in your ear. It's all the translation of what you might describe as a spirit. It's that pattern. It's independent of its material substrate. Well, Christ's spirit lives on. It's had a massive effect across time. Well, is that an answer to the question? Did his body resurrect? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happens to a person if they bring themselves completely into alignment. I've had intimations of what that might mean. We don't understand the world very well. We don't understand how the world could be mastered if it was mastered completely. We don't know how an individual might be able to manage that. We don't know what transformations that might make possible. I act as if God exists. I act as if God exists. I act as if God exists. I act as if God exists.
Oh, them nuke emojis in the chat. I act as if God exists. Akira the Don and Jordan B. Peterson. He's changed on this now, but so has society. Have you noticed? Have you noticed how less scared people are to admit they believe in God these days? It happened quite quick. What do you think did that? I believe these words he speaks, he spoke in 2017. 2018, 2017. What's that, 6 years? It's a different world. I act as if. Zach Stepp says my favorite Akira the Don song. Blade Law says source energy. Exactly. When PM says who else can make a world where everything is interconnected? Who can take a rainbow, turn it to glee? Max Seven Dan, Landa. I act as if MEANINGWAVE exists. That's the right thing to do. What's up, Alec Moran? On his lunch break like a warrior. Hope everyone is having a blessed day. Smash that like. That's a good point. You should do that. Have you done that yet? Have you done your duty? You know what you haven't done? We haven't done. Together we have not done an international high five. Do you want to do one of those? Very simple. We're just going to aim at the screen. If you're listening on a podcast feed, you don't have a stream. You just aim into the air somewhere. All you need to know is you'll be doing it at the same time as your homies across space and time, and you will thus be the beneficiary of the energy. Their blessed meaning wave energy. 3, 2, 1. Ooh-wee. Shouts out to that saxophone. Oh wait.
Akira.
Oh wait.
Akira.
Oh wait. What the blanket? What the goodness?
Alexander Solzhenitsyn, you may or may not know, was a prisoner in the Soviet Gulag concentration camp system that, by his report at least, killed 60 million people. Solzhenitsyn, he had a pretty nasty life. I mean, first of all, he's on the Russian front, which was a nasty place to be. Then he was captured by the Germans, and they didn't like Russians, so they put them in separate prisoners of war camps. Partly because Stalin, who was the consummate paranoid, wouldn't sign the Geneva Convention on the treatment of prisoners of war. So the Germans set up extra POW camps for the Russians, and they starved generally so badly that if other POWs were in the vicinity, they'd throw food packages over the wire, even though they themselves weren't particularly well fed. Well, the war ends and the Russians win, and Solzhenitsyn goes back to Russia, right? And what happens? He's thinking, wow, this is over. We helped defend the fatherland. We're going to get, if not a hero's welcome, at least some welcome. But Stalin figured, no. These Russians who'd been to the West, they were contaminated by their exposure to the Western economic system. And as a consequence of that, they posed a threat to the integrity of the Soviet state, so he just threw them all in concentration camps. So fine. So Solzhenitsyn's sitting there in this concentration camp on a coal pile which contained this kind of clay that his compatriots would eat because they were so damn hungry that it was better to have the clay in their stomach than nothing at all. And he thought, all right. What the hell did I do to get here? What the hell did I do to get here?
What did I do to get here? To get here?
What the hell did I do to get here?
What the hell did I do to get here? To get here?
Which is really a remarkable thing to think, right? Because there was the Second World War, and that probably couldn't be pinned directly on him. And then there's Stalin, who was, really one of the world's worst monsters. And then there's the concentration camp, the POW camp. A lot of things happened to Solzhenitsyn, but he said he had nothing but time to think in this concentration camp, and he wasn't really that happy with the way things turned out. So he made a vow in the camp, and the vow was this, that he's gonna go back over his whole life, right from day one, and try to remember every time he ever did something he thought was wrong. He thought, right? Not someone else, but that gave his conscience a pang. And he said, well, since I don't have anything better to do, I'm going to spend the next 10 years seeing if I can undo all those little knots in my soul that I tied. And the consequence of that was that he wrote a book called The Gulag Archipelago, a 3-volume book, 1,900 pages long. He memorized it because there wasn't any paper and pencil available for him in prison. And then it circulated in the underground in the Soviet Union for years before it got published in the West, published in 1975. Definitely one of the literary events that brought down the Soviet Union. Definitely. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? Think this one guy, right, got numbers tattooed on his arm, he's skinny as a rail, he's 3/4 dead, he's been beat to death in 15 different ways. He decides under completely unreasonable circumstances that he's going to take personal responsibility for the position that he happens to find himself in. The consequence of that, 25 years later, is that Solzhenitsyn is still around, but the Soviet Union isn't. What the hell did I do to get here?
What did I do to get here? To get here?
be the way the world works. Now, can it? But then you think this too, like, do we really know how the world works? We've had a pretty nasty century in the last 100 years, right? We had the Nazis, we had Mao Zedong, we had the recent tragedies in Africa. We don't seem to learn anything about genocide. Something like Solzhenitsyn says, well, you know, might be your fault. Might be your fault. Why? What are you ignoring? Good question. Can you make peace with your own family? It's not so easy, right? Probably no easier than making peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians. You want to be oriented towards something, because otherwise you're disoriented. You just spin around in circles and then you suffer. And so do people around you. It's not a good solution. Orient yourself towards something. You have to figure out what it is. What will work for you? What goal would justify the suffering of your life? Start trying to piece that together. You're going to get better at it. Start trying to piece that together. You're going to get better at it. But it's a personal process, so you need a personal place to stand, because otherwise you're going to be handed a place to stand on a plate. And it may be one that makes you a puppet of someone else's goals. So I would say, what are the processes? Well, I think what I've recommended to people is clean up your room. 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 He's got to clean up your room. Clean up your room. Clean up your room. Then you'll know what to do next.
Akira. Yeah, that last one was rare. So we had. I do need to remember I'm a radio DJ as well, right? Gosh, we had so many songs. So we had Playful with Alan Watts, which was written on stream. Legendary. Then we had That Which Is Not to the Purpose by Akira the Don and Seneca the Younger. One of our wonderful literal ghost writers around these parts. Then, of course, we had Act As If God Exists. Jordan B. Peterson from the Genesis album. A wonderful song, everybody loves that song. And then we had quite a rare one, What the Hell? What the Hell? I say that's rare because for whatever reason the algorithms did not favor the album it came from, which was called Truth and Dragons. That album is jam-packed with glory, so if you've not heard it, you should go check it out. Michael, PNW Survivor, a Meaningwave OG. You know this because he has an emoji next to his name that says, with the Meaningwave symbol, and OG. He says, I've never heard this one before and I love it. Speaking, of course, of What the Hell, which is a wonderful song. What did I do? What did I do? And it ties into that idea of radical self-responsibility. Every man is responsible for everything that happens to him and everything that happens to everyone else. Which also ties into the idea, which some people for some reason confuse with sort of new age hippiness, that you create your own reality, of course, that thoughts become things. And that's just observable fact with regards to how the world works and always has worked. And I feel that that's been deliberately conflated with certain mindsets and ideas to stop people from taking advantage of it. Broken Umbrella says that album is fire, fire, fire. Amanda says, I really wish I'd known about the Bandcamp thing sooner. Is that an annual thing? I think it's like a once a month on a Friday thing. I think it's a once a month on a Friday thing. The Bandcamp Friday, wherein they don't take a cut and the money goes to Meaningwave. But yeah, but if you get your stuff at meaningwave.com, it's a similar effect. And if there's something specific you would like from Bandcamp that you can't find on meaningwave.com, let us know and we'll make it available, because it mostly pretty much exists in some shape or form in the back end. We're in the process of working out systems to make things visible on the front end. Ultimately, everything will be at meaningwave.com, and you won't need Patreon and things like that. And you'll be able to do it all at meaningwave.com. Ultimately. Cyclops 924 is here. Just finished a shift at work. Glad I could catch the stream. Well, aren't we glad to see you? Chad Comstock said this was the song that made me realize the importance of a clean space for peace of mind. Clean up your room. Yes. I know, it sounds silly. People mock it. But it really is the case. Jesse Rovig says like smash. How's that like smashing going? Well, the reason I do that, I don't know if you see me, if you're watching this, you're like, why do you do that? It's because in front of me I got like a screen on the other side of the room, which is my screen that I do my production work on. And the camera is in front of that, right? The camera is suspended on the ceiling, comes down. And it just so happens to block the area which shows the like count. But actually now, for some reason, the YouTube backend isn't showing the like count on that machine. You can have a look over here. So yeah, let's have a look over here and see if you've done your duty. Oh, look, it's not showing it there. Obviously, it's not showing like. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I have to guess. Let me guess. Have you been doing your duty? I think some of you have. I think some of you probably haven't. I think there's probably a few of you out there that could do with smashing that leg. I think. Truth and Dragons, does that need a Perfect. Yes, it does. I'll make one. Let's finish that song. We didn't finish the song. I paused it in the middle. Well, I slipped in the instrumental in the middle so I could talk to you. Did you like how I did that? It was pretty smooth, wasn't it, Primal Movers? Primal Movers is here. We love Primal Movers.
See if you can stop saying things you know to be lies. That's not the same as telling the truth. You don't get to do that to begin with because you're not good enough at it to even attempt it in some sense. But everyone can stop saying things they know to be falsehoods.
Stop saying things that violate your conscience.
Here's another idea. Stop saying and doing things that make you feel weak.
Oh, them wave emojis in the chat.
Some things you do will make you feel disintegrated. It's a physiological sensation. Some things improve your integrity and some things disintegrate you. The things that disintegrate you, you often do to impress other people. You're escaping what you know to be your moral obligation, and your moral obligation stems naturally from your aims. And if you don't have an aim, well then, you're aimless. Clean up your room. 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 Then you'll know what to do next. I had a girl come up to me last night. She said, I started cleaning up my room and it completely changed my life. She said, your room is an externalization of your mind. And that's right. That's exactly true. To the degree that you're in your room, the room is you. So straighten up what you can straighten up and quit saying things that make you feel weak. And then you'll know what to do next. Clean up your room. 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 Clean up your room.
Alright, you can try that Truth and Dragons Nightbot command now. See if that works. Oh wait.
What to do next? It's like, hey, man, you have a room. Most people throughout human history have not had a room. You have a room. Well, my room's a hellhole. It's like, well, then you're a denizen of hell inhabiting it. You should do something about that. Well, what? Well, put it in minimal order. Get your clothes together, because you have to wear those. People are looking at your clothes. What clothes should you be wearing? Not the clothes of a total wretched loser. How about that? What about your bed? Well, is it comfortable? Naked in the morning so it looks like half civilized? Can you sleep there? It's like, is there junk everywhere so you just hate your life when you walk into your room? It's like, clean the damn thing up. See if you can do it. Order your drawers. Learn to fold your clothes. Put it in minimal order. And then, man, you could get spectacular. You said, put a plant in there. It's like, maybe I could make it beautiful.
Wow. No, Fool Killer, you don't do a hashtag, you do an exclamation mark. You put the exclamation mark and then the word, and then you get the Nightbot command. It's a miracle.
So you see, there's something going on. This web may be looked at.
Shout out to everyone cleaning their room right now. Who's cleaning their room right now? Brandon Wilson is cleaning his room right now.
Patterning.
It's Saturday, it's a good thing to do.
What else do you do? When you come to think of it. What else do you do? When you come to think of it. When you eat, you are turning food into the pattern of your skeleton, your muscles, and your nervous system. That's a pattern. And you say, you see basically hooray for that pattern. That's a pattern. And you say, you see basically hooray for that pattern. But then you want other patterns. You like to look through a microscope and see the patterns that exist in the small world. And see the patterns. You like to look through a kaleidoscope or a teleidoscope and see the patterns. You like to have paintings around and see the patterns. You like to watch the water play and see the patterns. You want to watch the birds go and the cows and all that. Fascinating patterns. And that really doesn't it?
That's interesting.
I mean, what?
There's a hashtag one in there as well. I didn't know they existed.
This takes up the rascal of ancient times, who became very rich by all sorts of skullduggery and warfare and so on. He got himself a suit of armor, a beautiful sword, and he had the armorer make the most intricate patterns, arabesques of inlaid gold on the steel. Because it's, as they say among the Pennsylvania Dutch, it's for nice. It's a great thing to have all that jazz. And that's what we go for. That's a pattern. And you say, you see, basically, hooray for that pattern. That's a pattern. And you say, you see, basically, hooray for that pattern. But then you want other patterns. You like to look through a microscope and see the patterns that exist in the small world.
It's true, I do.
See the patterns.
If you ever looked at snow through a microscope, it's fascinating.
To look through a kaleidoscope or a teleidoscope and see the patterns. You like
If you look at snow from a microscope,
and see the patterns.
you go like zoom down one level,
And play and see the
you
patterns.
see kind of like geometry or similar shapes.
And all that.
Keep zooming down, you start seeing crazy things.
Perfect.
For example, you will see medieval architecture at one level, and then you go down another level and you're seeing nuts and bolts and like the parts of construction. It's insane. Basically, it's the macro in the micro in the micro in the macro. Everything that exists in the above world also exists in the tiny world. Chad Comstock says, a Meaningwave style t-shirt of Truth and Dragons. I want one. Lol. Now, why do I keep having to tell you about putting the lol at the end of the thing? That is serious. The lol, I wouldn't, you know, the lol is unnecessary, but I think we have that. Yes, we do. There you go. So we have the regular cotton shirt with the Truth and Dragons artwork on it in black and white. Perfect. We have men's and women's shirts. We also have hoodies, long sleeves. We've got a zip up with it on the back. We have a poster. So yeah, we do have Truth and Dragons merch. And you can find that at meaningwave.com, and if you just head on over and type in truth into the search bar there, they will all come up, won't they? Look at that. This one's nice, I like this one. It's got like the track listing on the back, which I find to be cool. I like it when things have the track listing on the back. You also get that in grey and white. White is quite alright by me. Meaningwave.com, because happiness is a side effect of meaning. The sponsor of our show. Broken Umbrella is literally making... What the fuck? Broken Umbrella literally making my bed. Stephen Pace, I am. You're also cleaning. Shouts out to Run Cleaning. It's a good Saturday thing to do, like I said. Max Ovenden says, I only clean my room if I know I'm going to have visitors. Is that true? Is that really the case? What happens the rest of the time? You just live in utter squalor, like Lister in Red Dwarf. Perfect. Are you a genius? Is that what it is? You've been listening? Who said that? I saw someone mention that. It was you, yeah. Wasn't there that song by Naval about how geniuses never clean their room because they're too busy making things? Perfect. Naval has said something along those lines, but that's not a are you a genius? That's not a like, it's talking... I think in the song he was suggesting that you don't waste your time returning things to Amazon. You should give yourself an hourly, like, what's your time worth, you know what I mean? And not waste your time. And you should, as soon as you can, start delegating, right? And as soon as you can, start employing people to do the things that you don't want to do, or that you don't, that someone else could do better, perhaps, is one way of thinking about it. So maybe that would be get a cleaner. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know what geniuses we're thinking of. I don't know if Einstein was a genius. I don't know if his room was messy, but he probably had a cleaner. You know what I mean? And then, was it Howard Hughes? He lived in utter squalor and didn't trim his fingernails. And like, do you want that? Is that the kind of genius you want to be? Now, personally, I like being the kind of genius who has a very clean and delightful studio that you step into, and you can see everything you want to use, and it fills you with a great sense of peace and glory that you can get after it, Amcast says, I am being more assertive. Thank you, Akira. Good for you. Word XP says, cleanliness is close to godliness, and God is genius. That's very well put. There's lots of excuses. I think geniuses live in squalor. It's one of those things like artists are broke. It might be true that lots of artists are broke, but it doesn't mean that you have to be a broke artist. It doesn't mean that's a thing to aim for. Maybe lots of geniuses live in squalor. Do you want to be that kind of a genius? I would say, as a meaning wave enjoyer and a wave-riding individual, you could aim at being the sort of genius who has a pristine environment and is therefore a more useful genius. You get to choose. It's your existence. It's your movie. You get to decide. Perfect. Amcast says the lol at the end of a phrase is a sign of unable to articulate humility. Now look, here's the thing. We have stepped into this world where we're communicating in sort of short form text, and we don't have time to write the exact thing that we're thinking and feeling, and we don't have the in-person facial things to signify what it is we mean. A sly bit of wryness about it, a bit of sarcasm, a bit of self-depreciating humor or whatever it is. So we just bang in a lol or some emoji or this, that, and the other. We're working it out as we go along. I just think it's important to make sure we know what we're up to as we're doing it, and look out for any traps or any things that might make us weak. You know what I mean? Because it's all there in the language. And it is, I aim at my language being something that makes me as powerful in this realm as possible. And I notice myself not doing that quite a lot, you know, so I'm in a constant state of self-appraisal and regulation when it comes to that kind of thing. It's very easy to fall into little traps, and then when you fall into the traps, they can become grooves, and then you just exist in that place, denying yourself your superpowers. Hey! Hey! Perfect! Hey! Shout out to everyone locked in. It's the Meaningstream. We're chilling. It's a Saturday. It's a lovely Saturday. Lots of people are cleaning. Perfect! And doing other things. Well, those of you that are not cleaning, what are you doing? Perfect! I'm not that bad, by the way. Not quite squalor, but you have convinced me to tidy more often. And I'm not exactly a genius, lol. Was that one of those self-depreciating lols? Are you sure? Maybe you are a genius. And if you just sort of like cleaned up your room a bit, that would be more apparent. Don't you want to be a better version of yourself?
Pacing, leading, I've talked about. That's just matching somebody until they feel comfortable with you, and then you can lead them. And then you can lead them.
Oh, wait.
And then you can lead them. People can be very influenced by aspirations. This is another way to refer to the high ground maneuver. The high ground maneuver is essentially you challenge somebody to be a better version of themselves. Sort of the Jesus method, right? You know, it's not tell you you must do something or you'll die. That's fear. Aspiration is, don't you want to be the better version of yourself?
Huh?
Don't you want to be the better version of yourself? Don't you want to be the better version of yourself? Don't you want to be the better version of yourself? Don't you want to be the person who sees the big picture? Association. You know that any quality of one thing rubs off on the other. If you want somebody to like something, pair it with something else they like. Alright. So the likability of one thing will rub off on another, but also the unlikability. So for example, if you have a TV show, let's say the news, and you have commercials that are really unpleasant, eventually the unpleasantness bleeds into the show, and it would be better if you associated only things that were positive. So learning to associate only with positive things, one of the most important user interface rules of reality.
MEANINGWAVE.
Of reality. Reality.
Wealth.
Don't you want to be the better version of yourself? Don't you want to be the better version of yourself? Don't you want to be the better version of yourself? Don't you want to be the person who sees the big picture?
Huh?
Don't you want to be the better version of yourself? Don't you want to be the better version of yourself? Don't you want to be the better version of yourself? Don't you want to be the person who sees the big picture? Very, very important button.
Ooh-wee.
Very
Sound crazy.
important button.
It's like lo-fi G-funk or something. I keep inventing genres.
Very, very important button.
Very important button. Muy importante.
Very, very important button.
Whoa. See? You see? There you go. That was like a perfect explanation of what we were talking about there. Thank you, Scott Adams, for that. Max Amadén. I read that. Get after it. What up, D-Man? What up, Nico Schwartz? Oh, look, I caught a live show live. Yes, you did. You caught us chilling. You caught us chilling on a Saturday, which is what happens after Friday when we go super crazy. Friday we go nuclear, Saturday we chill. It is balance. Chill Canuck is cooking steak. Fool Killer is doing homework for collage. Venice Beach Dub Club's bedroom is clean, but I've been hesitant to put away my little Christmas tree in there. Yeah, that's always tough. Ours went a couple weeks ago. It lasted for 3 weeks of January, I think it was. We also got to get rid of the Hercules' Feliz Cumpleaños banner, since it hasn't been his birthday since January 6th. That's still up. Sometimes it's difficult to let go of these things because it's nice to have celebratory attire, right? It's nice to have decorations and jollity. We're leaving up some of our Christmas lights because they're pretty. So it doesn't have to be Christmas to have some pretty lights. Vincente's baking banana bread, doing the dishes while eating my post-workout meal. What is your post-workout meal? What is everybody's post-workout meal? Let me know. I'm interested. After this, patch these tiny holes and repaint the room. Not entirely repaint, just even the lines and repatch nicks. See, that's very, that's, wow, gosh. That's thorough is what that is. Amanda's cleaning. I will be cleaning. It's a thing for me, a process. I'm realizing how rigid I've gotten an omega. I gotta get after it. Yes, you do. But, playfully. Get after it playfully. Jess E says, my wife and I organized our sock drawers a couple of weeks ago, and it seems to kick off massive organizational momentum in our basement within a few days. Beware of the side effects of sock drawers. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You make one thing beautiful, and then there's another thing next to it, and you're like, oh, well, that could be beautiful too. Make that nice. Then you notice the thing next to that. You know what I mean? It's like when you got a dirty little boy who's been cleaning a chimney, and his mum licks a finger and does that on his cheek, and then you're like, oh, you're gonna have to wash the whole face now, aren't you? And then when you wash the face, you're gonna have to wash everything, and then you're gonna have to wash the clothes. That is the thing. I mean, if you could just remain in squalor and never have to bother, but that has its awful side effects. Becca H is doing carnivore diet meal prep. Later, more cleaning. What meal prep is in your carnivore diet stuff? Other than buy steaks. You know what I mean? It's just mine's buy steaks. Make sure there are steaks and eggs and chickens. Steaks. I'll be having a steak today at some point, I'm sure. I had my 4 raw eggs this morning. They were delicious. They weren't delicious. They were just 4 raw eggs. I didn't really taste them. I went, ugh! And they just hit the back of the neck and then went down. And that's what I'm working on. That's what you wrote. Chill Canuck, did someone say steaks? Fool Killer, the Marshall McLuhan album is going to be so sweet when it releases inevitably. This track will have to satisfy till then. Yeah, it will. I've been wondering if I should play you stuff that isn't finished because I have so much stuff. I got for example, that I've got unfinished versions of that album, and that might be 2 albums because it's 30 tracks or something. They're all about level 3. I have a level system in my production. I have 5 levels, and level 1 is basically the idea and sketching it out, chords and sort of general word placement. Level 2 is sort of finessing that into the right shape, building the choruses, that sort of thing. Level 3 is level 3 is probably some people would release at level 3. Level 3, the song is there. My only issue with that, of course, is that I know myself, sometimes when I hear songs in their early stages, and they're great, so I fall in love with them. Then when the final version comes out, I've become so attached to the early version that the final version, I don't like it as much or something, right? Or it's difficult to appreciate it. So I understand that there's a risk and a danger in doing that. So I don't know, but anyway, we'll see. Brandon Wilson says, I always love getting to hear the progression. Okay, well, that's interesting. Becca H, I do a casserole. That's basically ground beef, eggs, and cheese baked in a dish. But yeah, buy steaks is a lot of mine too. Ooh, wow. Wow, you're doing intensive dad stuff. You're doing cooking. You're doing cooking in your carnivore diet. Very impressive. Medium is the massage. Medium is the massage.
Do you know who Akira the Dawn is?
Of course, he's amazing.
Well, the
title, medium is the massage, is a teaser, a way of getting attention. There's a wonderful sign hanging on a Toronto junkyard which reads, "Help beautify junkyards. Throw something lovely away today." Now this is a very effective way of getting people to notice a lot of things. And so the title is intended to draw attention to the fact that a medium is not something neutral. It does something to people. It takes hold of them, it rubs them up, it massages them, it bumps them around. Medium is the massage. Medium is the massage. It's the massage. Medium is the massage.
Of our time, electric technology, everything from the light bulb to the telephone to the computer to jets to nuclear energy is changing everything. We are in the middle of a tremendous clash between the old and the new.
The medium does things to people, and they're always completely unaware of this. They don't really notice the new medium that is. They think of the old medium because the old medium is always the content of the new medium, as movies tend to be the content of TV, and as books used to be the content, novels used to be the content of movies. And so every time a new medium arrives, the old medium is the content, and it is highly observable, highly noticeable. But the real roughing up and massaging is done by the new medium, and it is ignored. Medium is the massage. Medium is the massage. Medium is the massage.
It does seem to me that anyone who lives in the West, in the Western culture, this time in history, and in this place, and who isn't simultaneously grateful for that, is half blind, at least. Because it's never been better than this, and it could be so much worse. It's never been better than this, and it could be so much worse. It's never been better than this, and it could be so much worse. So much worse. So much worse.
There was a paper published in Nature not so long ago, stating, for example, that an area twice the size of the US has greened in the last 15 years. There's more forests in the Northern Hemisphere than there were 100 years ago, and more forests in India and China than there were 30 years ago. And then this has gone along with a massively improved standard of living. The child mortality rate in Africa is now the same as it was in Europe in 1952, which is a statistic that I just regard as absolutely miraculous. The rate of poverty is diminishing at an amazing rate, right? Between 2000 and 2012, we have poverty.
It's never been better than this, and it could be so much worse. It's never been better than this, and it could be so much worse. It's never been better than this, and it could be so much worse. So much worse. So much worse.
It's kind of
Pretty hard on the Marxists. Even though there is inequality, and inequality is a problem. First of all, it doesn't look like inequality can be placed at the feet of capitalism. It seems to me to be a far more intractable problem than that. Second, it's clear that the poor are getting richer despite the fact of inequality. And third, is hard on the environmentalists, I think, is that it turns out that if you get people's income up to about $5,000 a year in terms of gross domestic product, they actually start to care about the environment, which I suppose is because they're not worried about dying instantly that day or that week. And so we seem to be in this perverse situation for a pessimist where we can make people wealthy and we could make the world a better place simultaneously.
It's never been better than this. And it could be so much worse. It's never been better than this. And it could be so much worse. It's never been better than this. And it could be so much worse. So much worse. So much worse. And it's highly likely that it will be so much worse.
¿Por qué?
For most of human history, so much worse is the norm.
What up, dog? Hey, gang, we've been chilling, ain't that nice? Shouts out to everyone who's been hanging out with us. We've been chilling for 2 hours. How does it happen? Where does the time go? It's magical. It's like seeing the world through the eyes of babes for the first time. That must be it. Must be it. Venice Beach Dub Club says, I got a whole album finished, except the one song that I can't figure out the snare on. What is the snare issue? That's interesting. A lot of people get stuck on snares. That's quite normal. I do not, for some reason. I'm very, very quickly know what snare to use. But I do everything very quickly, instinctually these days. I do not. I wonder if it's a zone inhabitation thing. I do not know, but I've had that years and years and years ago. I know exactly what you're talking about. But that has not been something that I've had to concern myself with for a long ass time. I mean, the right snare is very important. Isn't that? I mean, it's happening a lot in your song. Unless it's one of them songs that don't have any drums. Very important. Some people choose the wrong snare and it fucks things up. Shouts out to everyone logged in. Thank you for being here. This has been the Meaningstream. We've been chilling. We've been chilling. We will return. Same bad time, same bad channel. You know how we do. This stream is, of course, brought to you by meaningwave.com. You might want to go over to meaningwave.com because of the whole happiness side effect of meaning thing. Get yourself some apparel, maybe a cassette with some spice in it. We got those. They're very nice. Maybe hit the resources tab and the support Meaningwave and support Meaningwave in some way. Maybe send over one of those bitcoins you've got hanging around or something. We have though. We can take those. We can take Cash App things, Venmos, ETHs, all of that. If you get value from Meaningwave and you don't think Spotify pays enough, 0.04 cents, maybe do that. Maybe get some digital music bundle situation. Or maybe just browse some lyrics and just sit there on a rocking chair reading some lovely, lovely Meaningwave lyrics because, why not? I see mythology as serving 4 functions. The first function is what I would call the mystical function. The mystical function opens up a realization of the mystical dimension, the behind the surface phenomenology of the world. There is a transcendent mystery source, and that is the source also within yourself, within yourself, within yourself, within yourself, within yourself, within yourself. The second function has to do with the image of the world, what I would call the cosmological function. This changes radically from time to time in the very early hunting and planting and gathering societies, relatively small horizon. And the science was that of what was visible in terms of the visible world. The sun rose, went down, the sun rose, went down, the sun rose, went down, and the science sense was that of what was visible in terms of the visible world. The sun rose, went down. You could do that, see. You could just go to meaningwave.com, put on a random instrumental, and just read lyrics over the top of it and make a new song. Wow. What a time to be alive. Meaningwave.com. ¿Por qué? Because happiness is a side effect of meaning. Of course. Everybody knows that. Yeah. Amanda Dancy says, thanks for the show. Off to do laundry stream. 1 out of 100. Get after it. What should I say?
Get after it. You gotta get after it.
You do. Why? Because you do. Now, what was I saying earlier about not playing unfinished songs? I mean, this one's nearly finished. I'm interested to see what it finally sounds like.
We become what we think about. We become what we think about.
Make some noise, Meaningwave Autonomous Zone. This one goes out to you.
You think about. You. Let me say that again.
Most definitely. You.
Throughout all history, the great wise men and teachers, philosophers and prophets have disagreed with one another on many different things. It is only on this one point that they are in complete and unanimous agreement. Listen to what Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, said. He said, a man's life is what his thoughts make of it. A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. Disraeli said this. Everything comes if a man will only wait. I have brought myself by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it. And that nothing can resist a will that will stay even existence for its fulfillment. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about. Ralph Waldo Emerson said this, a man is what he thinks about all day long. William James said, the greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. And he also said, we need only in cold blood act as if the thing in question were real, and it will become infallibly real by growing into such a connection with our life that it will become real. I'm so knit with habit and emotion that our interest in it will be those which characterize belief. He also said this, if you only care enough for a result, you will almost certainly attain it. If you wish to be rich, you will be rich. If you wish to be learned, you will be learned. If you wish to be good, you will be good. Only you must then really wish these things and wish them exclusively. Not wish at the same time 100 other incompatible things just as strong. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about. In the Bible you read in Mark 9.
Oh, them nuke emojis in the chat by Joe.
Canst believe. All things are possible to him that believe it. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale said this. This is one of the greatest laws in the universe. Fervently do I wish I had discovered it as a very young man. It dawned upon me much later in life, and I found it to be one of the greatest, if not my greatest discovery outside of my relationship to God. And the great law, briefly and simply stated, is that if you think in negative terms, you will get negative results. If you think in positive terms, that is the simple fact, which is at the basis of an astonishing law of prosperity and success. In 3 words, believe and succeed. Believe and succeed. Believe and succeed.
and succeed.
Believe and succeed.
Wealth. 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 Yo. From the forthcoming The Strangest Secret in the World album with Elle Nightingale, we believe we become what we think about. Max Avidan says, I love hearing unreleased Meaning Wave. This song is amazing. Vincente says, this is a track that should be played every day. Believe and succeed, Chris Beatty. Believe and succeed. Get you Cujo 76. Believe and succeed, Fool Killer. Believe and succeed, Chad Concept. Believe and succeed, Venice Beach Dub Club. Believe and succeed, Cedric Edge. Believe and succeed, Amanda Dances. Believe and succeed, all of you. Michael, CH, all of you. Believe and succeed. Thank you for being here. We'll be back. Next stream will be announced shortly. You'll be able to see it on the live tab. And I look forward to seeing you then. Kick that like in the throat on the way out. Leave a comment and head on over to meaningwave.com. You know what to do. We'll see you very soon. Love to you and your family. God bless.